Hello, this is Hi Bob Warbob, and let's play some Ultimate General Civil War. Hello, and welcome back. Today, we are finishing up Day 1 Washington. Shouldn't take long. About 30 minutes. So here we're marching up here so that he doesn't try to cross the river. Because he'll cross the river sometimes if you don't put guys there. Looking to get a flanking maneuver going there. We did get a couple units to come across here, which is not optimal. And I really don't try as hard as I probably should here. To be honest, at this point, I was a little burned out. Just a little bit. And I did have some runs where I got it down a little bit better. I think this is the first time I ever did this map. I think. Because I went on to day 2 and I did good enough on day 1 that I didn't really worry too much about it. And then day 2 I went on, and then I just never really wanted to have to try to go back. Should have done better here. Obviously, like, this is not optimal at this point. It's gonna be a lot of losses on a unit that I didn't mean to cross these over at all. So it's not like I was aiming to do this and just like messed up. No, I like did not realize that this was gonna be a thing that I did to myself. So you can see that one of the places is open, but some of the other ones do have men in them, so that's not great. We got snipers, two units of snipers coming around there. They'll help out a lot to knock a lot of the guys out of these fortifications as we go. Now we just got to get everybody spread out and ready to go. As you can see, we have a lot of infantry units here. We didn't bring any artillery over there. We did bring artillery over in the west side there. That is not optimal, once again. So it's going okay. Those guys crossing over there probably is a good thing, but at the same time, like, I didn't expect it, and I didn't have enough of them probably. Probably having more there would probably be better. And actually have them like lined up to take shots on different units like right off the bat. If you could get flanking shots on like that one fortification right off the bat, that'd be really good. And then if you can make sure and have several units right there that are able to, you know, spread out and cover. Probably like 4 units would be good. One to cover the fortification, and then one to run forward and fire at the other fortification, one to get the artillery, and then another one just to kind of make sure that nothing sneaks up on you. That'd probably be enough to do pretty good there. You could also possibly bring artillery there. Problem with bringing artillery there is that they start out within range of their units, so you're liable to take a bunch of damage if you're not real careful. So I should have told that guy, yeah, there we go. I need to tell that guy to attack, because then we want this other guy to come over and he can help keep him out of there. So that should work all right. And I think I kind of missed moving these guys for a second there. Should have been more on the ball with them. You don't want them to be taking shots for any longer than they have to. That doesn't really make any sense. And basically we just want to get around the side of them. You can get in the trees right below that fort. That can help. You just tell them not to fire, run into the trees. Then you can tell them to fire again once they're in there. You don't want them to I don't know why I moved away. That was bad. Shouldn't have moved away with that guy. I guess I didn't want to get into melee while they technically are in the fort, because that can be bad. So that kind of makes sense. A little bit. Just keep... As long as you turn them sideways like that, they can't shoot you. I think... I don't remember. I guess I get him out before he would have been there anyway, so it doesn't really matter in my case, but in your case it would possibly matter depending on whether or not your snipers can get them out fast enough. Somehow we're hidden here, which is kind of funny. It's difficult to push along this fortification line from this side. It's a little finicky sometimes, but I mean, as you see from the red bar up there, like, we massively outnumber them. It's not even close how many men we have over here compared to them. That's what happens whenever you bring this much infantry, though. You just have a ton of men. And if I had more units up in the north there, then I could have done some more things with like having these units. They should... Oh, great. That's not good. See, that's just dumb. Like, my unit gets routed even though he, like, ran through my units towards the fortifications. That makes no sense. Whatever. So, we just keep moving forward, pushing them back, throwing them into disarray. And I mean, I have way too many men here. Like, they need to not be standing out there in the open where they can be seen. It's just a bad idea. And these guys going into the fortifications, I don't need them in the fortifications. I should tell them to go help, like, get vision on that other fort, so that then I'll know what I'm up against over there. We've got our snipers around, moving even more units around. We're pretty close to being ready to assault the fort. Got several units getting flank shots here. Should be able to pretty easily route this last fortification before the fort. So we're definitely within range of their artillery, so we got to be careful, because their artillery will start hammering us pretty good. I don't know if they've got 20Ps or 24 howitzers here or what, but obviously if we're not careful, they will get some really, really good shots on us. So here, what I should have done was, like, tell them to hold fire, run into the... Do I tell them to hold fire now? I don't think I do. But yeah, holding fire can be a really helpful thing for these kind of situations, so that they don't stop, like, halfway outside of the cover that you're moving into. So several of them are routed now. I told one of them to hold fire there, so that we could get them all the way into cover. Okay, get them all lined up in there. It's like 60% cover, so that's not terrible. It's not great, but I mean, it's definitely better than standing out in the open with 0%. I mean, 24%. So it's over double the cover, you know. And we just keep pouring more guys in close there. I mean, we certainly have a ton of units. We might as well use them to the best of our advantage. I don't know what's going on here. I guess I paused it for a second. Okay. I guess I just had real life there for a second. Sorry about that. So, I mean, you can see, like, we've got this fort, like, not completely surrounded. We could have done better with those units up top. We could have moved more units up there, like a ton more, probably, like 6 or 7 more units up there, which would have allowed us to get around behind them, and we could have also sent units over to help with the other fort a little bit early, just to have units kind of moving that way, getting vision, seeing what's over there. And this whole time we've been completely ignoring moving up the side over there, which is not a great look, to be completely honest. So, I mean, I don't know how many men we lost taking the fort, but it wasn't like a crazy number. Probably like 2,000 or 3,000. And we did it mostly with just firing with infantry. We didn't hardly even use artillery, which is crazy. Yeah, we took quite a few casualties here just from sitting out in the open and literally not doing anything for an extended period of time. Not a great look. But, and yeah, we should have sent some units around this as well, especially if we weren't going to close off the back. That's not a very good look either, because I mean, obviously I have way too many men in here to actually be needed whatsoever. They only have like 2 artillery units, so them only having 2 artillery units in there means that the number of units that I have here, like they can't do anything against that. It's probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Probably had 16 max size units, like surrounding that fort, 3/4 surround that fort. That's a lot of men in a really small space. It's like 2K each, so 2.5K each. That's a lot of men. And the cleanup doesn't go all that great either. Like I really didn't know what I was getting into. For one thing, I was told that the forts were like extremely difficult to take, and I didn't find them to be as difficult as what I had assumed they were going to be. But that's just me, and I mean that's all my fault. I should have thought about the fact that I had that many men a little bit harder and realized that it's not really the same thing at that point. I am kind of curious about how many casualties I took here. It's not, I don't think it's like crazy. Here, it's not so good. I've been completely ignoring the side and still only took 100 casualties there, but I took some there. Should have moved more men into the city. Should have moved men up. Like, I am definitely lacking on this side of the battlefield and should be paying more attention to it. And I need to move the men over from the other fortifications, like over here, so that they can get behind these guys. Like, there's a lot of things that aren't real great about this part of the battlefield. Here we go. So now I finally send a couple guys that way, which is better. Not perfect, but better. See, now the snipers are like the only thing out here stopping them from routing south. Like, should have had men all the way around there already, ready for this whole thing, because that's what happens whenever you route a bunch of guys. They run away. So I knew better than that if I just thought about it a little bit more. And that one unit in the city is going to have to try to hold off like a lot of routing units, which is not a good thing, because that's too many men to try to hold off. And here we cross this river when we probably shouldn't have. There, we should have crossed the river with the guys on the other side of the river earlier. We've got an extra unit over there that we didn't need, that we should have probably sent around and had here already, but we didn't bring him. So it's not a great look for us. They're charging us down, but we were able to outrun them pretty well there. I was going to bring my cav over and maybe pester him a bit, but that's not working out very well now that the other guy already routed. I was going to try to get him to turn and face the cav, which then would allow my other unit to get shots on him while he's just turning in a circle, but now that he's taking care of the other unit, the cav unit will be the next target. Instead of being able to distract him, he'll just be a target. So yeah, one unit in the city. You need like 2 or 3 units in the city. Probably actually like 4 would be best. And some of those units in the city could have been units that spawned in to the north. Like, they could have come across the top and down. They could have come all the way down to the south corner, southwest corner there, and come up into the city there. They could have obviously come from the north, well, I mean the west in general, and come across there too. So there's plenty of options for where you could get men. I mean, look, my men are just like stacking on top of each other here. So they do have a unit in one of the fortifications. You can tell by the fact that it isn't available to put a guy into. So get a capture in the middle of a river. That's interesting. But yeah, so they got around to the south there. So we've got to send men after them, which isn't great. This whole battle is kind of a mess. I kind of want to. I've refought it a little bit, and then I just kind of didn't want to refight day 2, and I didn't want to redo the camp. And the one time I did redo it, I didn't really get that much better of a result. It just looked cleaner. Like, while I was fighting it, it felt cleaner, but in the end, my losses were basically the same, and I'd already moved on, so just didn't really matter all that much somehow, which is crazy to say. Like, you would think that, like, if you do a lot better. Oh, and I didn't actually sweep across the north, so there's a unit sneaking in behind, which is not good. Once again, not the cleanest look here, to be 100% honest. So now we're starting to get units kind of moving in a little bit better. They abandoned the fort, so, I mean, not the fort, well, I mean, look at the fort. The fort's almost empty too, but so here we need to tell them to not fire. Tell them not to fire. See, you tell them not to fire, you get them all the way into the woods, and then they fire while you're in the woods and they're still outside of the woods. But I didn't do that, so my unit took a shot while he was still partway in the river, probably. We've got no time left on the clock, but they've got no units in the fort, so I was wanting to push as fast as I could because I saw that they didn't have any units in the fort. it doesn't end up too bad, I guess. I mean, having to send 4 units after 1 is just, it's not a great look. Okay. And now we are back in the north. And see, the units that got kicked across were units that I was using to surround these units. So it's not like I was aiming to get down there. And so now we just have to move in, get rid of these last units, and then we can also take the fort at the same time, maybe even. I don't see why we can't take the fort right now. They don't have very many men left at this point. Like, you can see the blue bar compared to the red. Like, it's not even close. I have way more men than them. I have probably more guns now at this point too, even though I have very few guns, I probably still have more than them. Just because shouldn't be moving units from that side of it probably. I've got a ton of units, and those fortifications to the south there will keep them from wanting to route south very heavily. They very rarely can actually route through a fortification. I shouldn't be moving out of those fortifications probably. I should be leaving units in them. Just because of how well they do at corralling units. Especially since I don't have very many units down here. Until I get units down here, I shouldn't be moving them out of the forts. It's just not very good. I don't need to be pressing the attack on this side. I've got the attack going off on the other side. I've got plenty of men to do it over there. And I don't have hardly any extra units on the other side, so it is what it is, though, I guess. So getting them to turn in different directions is good. We need more units on the far side, though. We don't have enough units. They're not spread out enough. As soon as they start trying to route, they're going to route right through my lines if I'm not careful. I feel like I did okay here. It just, I don't know, it feels like it could be better. Here we need to get up on the walls, because until you get up on the walls you can't shoot inside. So we're just gonna go for it. That's a lot of men moving to the walls. Once again, you can do the whole hold your fire till you're there kind of thing, so that you can get guys locked in place. But if you're playing rebalance, you can't lock units in place if they overlap with another unit. But you kind of need units to overlap here, because you definitely want to have a lot of men. So now that they're on the wall, then we can tell them to move more. And the phase ends, I guess? No. Wow, that looked like a phase end for some reason. I guess maybe I skipped ahead a little bit? No. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know why I skipped like that. Maybe I just had to pause it for a second and move the screen a little bit. So we've completely overwhelmed them at this point. Like, it's over. Like, they don't even stand a chance at this point. You just gotta be careful not to let anybody out of the surround. And it doesn't look like we're gonna let... Oh, we got lucky there on that cav. That cav almost got out. There we go. We're getting there. We almost have them surrounded and taken out. I don't even know why I told them to move. Oh, because they're going to be, the south is going to be opening up next, and when the south opens up, then you want to have your units kind of down there, kind of a little bit at least. No reason not to have your units close. No reason to turn off supply wagons for this one, because supply wagons are all, you don't get any money for them anyway, so you might as well use them while you got them. Able to get a capture there. Capture there. Looks like the captures are starting to roll in, so that's good. That means their overall... Oh, and while I was looking away, all those captures. Okay, sure. A lot of them look like they barely even got into melee, so... Go ahead and tell several of them at once to move down to the south. And then we just continue on for more of them. Telling them not to run just so they don't wear themselves out. Probably no reason to do that, because one way or another they're going to wear themselves out if I don't have them rest first. They're probably already worn out, and they'll run a lot faster if you tell them to run than if you don't. So oftentimes it can be a good idea to have them run just so that they wow. I was gonna laugh if that guy gets through. He does. Wow. The last unit on the field, and he just straight up breaks through. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was gonna say, that'd be quite the event. Okay, so now we got another group ready to spread out here. And then we just hit run, and then we have to wait for the contested timer to run down, I think, and then we move on to the south. So there's not enough time for everybody to get places. Oh no, they took Fort Stevens. I don't know if I've noticed yet that they took Fort Stevens. And I'm moving all of their captured units up there. That's funny. When am I gonna realize? I have no idea how long it'll be before I realize. Okay, so we see one guy here. At least we don't lose if they take the contested timer, at least. So we got that going for us. But should probably get over there and take that back, because really don't want to lose this. But obviously I didn't lose it, so do I notice now? Oh no, they didn't take it back. Oh, I thought they took it back for some reason. Why? That was the contested timer running down on it. Okay. Wow, I started playing the Union campaign, and now every time I see the rebel flag, I see an enemy instead of an ally. So yeah, that's coming up. Union playthrough with Something Compass. Gonna do some recording and invite him to. We've already done the first couple episodes now, so we should be continuing that on. That'll be fun. Be a new experience to do that with someone. He's a great guy. I mean, he's basically the reason why I started recording anyway, so it'll be really cool to invite him on and especially since it's Union playthrough, because he's much more interested in Union playthrough than he is CSA. He's put a lot of time into it. I mean, this is pretty much it now. Like, I got 5 hours, but I don't even care. Like, I'm just, like, I've got max morale, max stamina on, like, all my units. It just doesn't matter at this point. Like, it's not like I'm going to gain any experience by stalling for time at this point. So, might as well just take it and get it over with. So, they were able to knock a hole in my line there, which is embarrassing, but that's what happens whenever you don't man up enough. You don't put enough men in the right places. So I think I go ahead and tell somebody to go ahead and move back there so I actually have vision, because it's not a great idea to not have vision on anything. Especially not whenever, like, all I have to do is take one place and you can lose, like, if you can't take it back in time. But I mean, we got 5 hours, so we're not looking at being stressed for time anyway, so it probably doesn't actually matter, just because we're not stressed for time. If you're moving in towards the end of the time and everything, then you definitely don't want to leave a chance for you to just lose to somebody capturing something at the very end. If you're trying to get experience, or if you were trying to or you're trying to, like, milk the timer for some reason, I don't know why, or you just literally it's taking that long just because if you are more artillery based solution, you might be trying to move slower. To be honest, like, this isn't the best that I could do with infantry, but the problem is that the amount of micro that would go into actually trying to fully micro this would be intense, to say the least. So should tell those guys to get out of there. Yep, there we go. I mean, this is pretty much wrapped up at this point. I mean, I don't even think that, yeah, we'll have Fort Washington captured by the time the contested timers would have ran down on everything else. So we're making good time. I just was wanting to get this over with, just because I think one thing that I started to realize towards the end here was it makes no sense for me to be running. Here we go. So everybody on hold. No matter what you're doing, you should be on hold. Like, everybody's dead except, like, one guy, and there he's gone. It's just one guy left. There we go. Everybody's dead. Everybody needs to be on hold. The reason for that is that you want to regain whatever stamina you can right now, because you don't have any time tomorrow. Whatever stamina you have right now will be the stamina you have tomorrow. And I'm just basically going through and just double checking, making sure everybody's on hold. Anybody that looks like they're moving a little bit, making sure to tell them to hold. Even if they're enemy units, doesn't matter. Might as well. And we should be done here in just a few minutes. There we go. Proceeding on to the next day. So on day one, I took 15,185 casualties whenever I counted it up. Killed almost 60,000 and captured another 37,000 for a total of 97,333 killed and captured, for a total kill to death ratio of about 6.41 to 1. Just killed to lost is about 3.94. We're looking at not bad numbers. I don't know exactly how many most people lose on the first day, because a lot of the times you just see the total. Usually totals around 40 or 50,000. So 15,000 day one for a complete wipe seems like a decent number. I lost a ton of snipers, as you guys saw, way too many. I only have like 91 men left, but I have no guns for any of my snipers, so we'll just have to go with what we have. But it's definitely painful for a lot of these guys. See, how many snipers do we have? It's like that one's relatively okay. These two are pretty good. We have like three that are full, 4, 5. We have 5 that aren't in too bad a shape, and then another 2 that are pretty damaged, and then 2 that are almost unusable for like actual victoriously sniping the enemy. I mean, they've got tons of kills already, but doesn't do you a whole lot of good. This is gonna be really cool to be able to like put like really low guys in here, because these guys they got tons of experience now. Probably even a lot of these guys now have. Oh no, they don't. I thought they would have gained at least a little bit by now, but some of them did. The ones that actually got in the battle, that one didn't even get into battle. So we'll probably be able to like move things around, switch things up, and try to get guys into these that will actually have 3 stars. But I don't know if it'll work or not. It's be a little touch and go. That's 3 2-star guys we've got to replace. 4. I don't know if we'll have the men for it. We might be able to pull out some of our division leads. That might work out pretty well. I'll be back with a camp video. You guys have a good one. Bye. Well, this has been a blast. Hope you guys have had as much fun as I've had. I'll see you again in the next episode. You guys have a good one,